I've always thought it was a bit of genius. In the years when the Jewish New Year, Rosh Hashanah, the evening of Friday, September 15th to sundown, September 17th this year, coincides with the beginning of the school year. It's all about newness, new year, new beginnings, and new hope. Having spent many years of my life as a teacher and a campus minister, I always love this time of year. So in these days, as we and our children and our schools prepare for the new beginning, it might be a time to take stock of where we are personally in the light of Jesus' challenge to us in today's gospel. The first thing to do is to forget about the camel. Current scholarship tells us that contrary to older ideas, there never was a gate in Jerusalem known as the Eye of the Needle. This is an example of Oriental hyperbole, of which Jesus was a master. It is always good to remember that Jesus' challenges to us are in love and friendship, invitations to join him in building a world of peace and justice for all. If, like me, you read the newspaper, the paper one, every day, or even if you read it online, you probably saw a very large article on page A10 of the Washington Post on Thursday, August 3rd, under, of all things, climate and environment. I would have put it on the Saturday religion page. Swedes know the secret to happiness. You aren't your stuff, by Michael J. Conan, and based on a book by Margaret Magnuson, which has its own TV reality show, The Gentle Art of Swedish Death Cleaning. The book and the program focus on a process to begin at any time and to share with your family in regard to the importance of things in your life, and consequently, whether to keep the item in question or not. This is different from the well-known "Does it give you joy?" Does it have sentimental value for you? Can you articulate its symbolic rather than material value? Does this sound morbid? But rather, like doing an advance directive for healthcare, it's a gift to those you love, and ultimately to yourself. So the entire article is worth reading. So it's really about your relationship with things, and in this way, it is not very different from St. Ignatius' insight about things and freedom. There's more than one story in the gospel about the obstacle that possessions can pose to discipleship. 2,000 years later, the rich young man is still making us uncomfortable. And 500 years later, Ignatius' insight about the obstacle our relationships with things and people and institutions can pose to our spiritual freedom in making choices is still amazingly perceptive. We have all experienced in both small and large ways the dynamic he outlines, that our attachment to stuff or persons, to being liked or overachieving at work, has given us the illusion of status or honor, and in that status we believe we have power. Ignatius proposes that simplicity of life, a balanced relationship with all that stuff, however we define it, offers us freedom and true humility or honesty. Especially for women, but in fact for all of us. Quote, humility means truth, both of one's strengths and gifts of God, as well as one's weaknesses, one's reality before God, end quote. In the recent words of Father Thierry Doblstein, S.J., the new provincial of the French-speaking province of the Society of Jesus in Western Europe, quote, thank you, St. Ignatius, for giving us the keys to freedom, how to choose what leads to the glory of God. When we have deeply examined all those relationships in our lives, we can come to this place of true humility as a loved child of God who is free to follow Jesus however he calls, as we grow in love, freedom, and generosity in the knowledge that all is gift. In this season of new beginnings, isn't now the time to start?